the LCK, Huhi has more bans than the next two supports combined, and their most played is Karma. It's an enchanter-heavy meta in the LCK, and Huhi tends to be good into enchanters, and she rides the ban bench over there. Here, in the LCS, we're seeing some Karma bans. We are seeing a bit of a mix. We saw some Lulu earlier, but we are seeing a lot of like Lotus and Leona, and so it's kind of a mix right now.
And it's also interesting that Caitlyn has gone through, because I believe today across at least Europe and North America, it really has not even gone through. And it is exactly in the wheelhouse of the way 100 Thieves wants to play. It does mean, however, that Thresh can go over, but there's also no Lulu ban. So I'm very curious to see what ends up happening for the bot lane here. Another interesting trend, at least in the LCS today, is AD carry, support, and jungle have been the 1, 2, 3 picks for both sides in all 3 games. No one has picked a solo lane champion until the 4-5, and because the support and jungler has already been locked in for Golden Guardians, you don't see a reason for that to change. It's matched with the double range, and now you're just going to probably get another long-range champion to try and match.
Absolutely. Kate Luck's definitely a big one. Again, the LCK seems to be the most double range, just chain push. Sort of, that's their meta game right now. In months, we'll see how it, interacts with other teams around the world, but for now, it's kind of the Korean metagame. Caitlyn has been huge everywhere. She's like a top 4 pick in LEC, LCK, and LPL. So, the LCS is right at home. Like, yep, Caitlyn priority is a big deal. Obviously, we had talked in the dive about how because you can't teleport your top laner down there on a flank ward, you don't get screwed by chain pushing in bot. So in Korea, in North America, we are seeing a bunch of chain push bot lanes.
And I think this is a worthy conversation to have. Just viewers, bear with me. I'm not going to talk about the 4-5 bans and the top lane stuff because I think the bottom lane meta is very, very intriguing. I have noticed, especially going through like 3 splits of preseason scrims into stage scrims, it is not uncommon for the type of range support, bot lane dominant things to be very prevalent in preseason scrims because you're able to just be a little bit more unleashed in the bottom lane and you're willing to be flippier in games. Usually throughout a split, you'll move more towards somewhat more conservative bottom lanes, more tank supports, and then better team fighting because you don't want to have the game hinge on whether or not you're able to take like a turret before 10 minutes or multiple plays with your bottom lane. But that extra dynamic coming into this split with an actual gameplay change of not being able to ward behind, teleport in 8 minutes, and get a double kill, we don't know if it's going to go away. It's definitely the trend, though, at the start of lock-in to see those double ranged bot lanes have a lot of success.
So right now, Renekton locked in for Golden Guardians, can be a top mid flex, but I think is the global #1 pick and ban champion right now in Pro League of Legends. Renekton is a high bar. He's at least on the podium up there. Obviously, at this point, 100 Thieves don't 100% know where he's going. Renekton is mostly a top laner, so it's not a hard guarantee. Syndra going to come through for Abbeddage. They're going to find the last pick here. To your point, Jatt, I'm also curious about the hard pushing bottom lanes and whatnot. I also imagine as teams rosters are coming together, right, coordination is a bit weaker. So like a roaming support and the roaming jungle support duo, like that takes more time to learn. Whereas like, oh yeah, me hit minion's forehead is like much easier, in the early season. I feel like that might be part of the solution. Vex coming through, by the way. Vex locked in to the mid lane for Ryoma.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how Ryoma can do with this Vex. Going back to the 4-5 bans, the Corki Victor LeBlanc kind of trio that we've been seeing all day has at least been banned out, so we're going to get something a little bit different. The Renekton Gnar is pretty common, right? It's a dare of whether you can counter the Renekton well enough with Gnar. I think you generally can. It just isn't as good of a setup champion if you do want to punish. But overall, I think 100 Thieves is going to be pretty happy with what they have going into this game.
It looks pretty neat. So as the timer ticks down, we're not going to see any more trades down here. I am curious which way Lux goes in this game. For anyone who plays solo queue, we've all seen the Lux who gets the 8 kills and goes full AP, Depcap 3rd at 1-shots. I'm more curious which way she goes kind of keystone-wise, because there's the very defensive Guardian option, where you just want to make sure, like, I don't get 1 shot, Caitlyn does get 1 shot. As long as I W, we get the shield, we'll be okay. Glacial Augment is what I'm taking to. If you land the Q, you get the tendrils out. The Gigantic Slow gives everyone on your team a 15% damage reduction. As long as Lux stays safe, and she should, she's Lux, you've just given your whole team a ton of tank stats. And I think that's actually supposed to be her most common choice. We'll see if it goes that way, but she is going for Comet. She's going very poke heavy. She's trying to say, no, we're going hard shove. We're dealing damage on the turret. I'm going to land the E, the Lucid Singularity, and we're going to push you out of lane.
Yeah, that is the most common one, at least looking at the solo queue stats. I'm also inclined to a Moonstone Lux, which is definitely like a hipster mythic for a Lux, but I feel like it has good uptime if you end up being in a pokey game. But that's going to come in a long while. For now, we got the posturing at the start of the game and no immediate face check first blood for Ssumday this time.
No immediate first blood. Congratulations, Ssumday. You have lived a lot longer than on average. That's good, right? The stats are moving. I mean, I'm just saying right now, like, Ssumday's gold difference at 15 is, like, in the dirt. He got counterpicked by a Vayne. He got first blooded. Like, wow. I mean, right now, Ssumday is the worst laner in the LCS. Yes, I'm being sarcastic.
Someone will clip it right before.
Yeah, it's great.
Part.
Yeah, statistically, Ssumday is the worst early game player in the LCS. It's stupid. I just wanted to say it again so we can get clipped a second time and I can show up on Reddit. People can make fun of me for using stats out of context, and the joke's on them because using my quotes out of context. And we just go deeper and deeper. Yeah, welcome back to Cast with Me, Jatt. It hasn't changed.
It's like riding a bike, dude.
Yeah.
It's completely fine.
Yeah. Well, early trade to the mid lane. Nice. Gets a fear, gets the auto attack, and the Gloom picks back up. Ryoma gets a decent early trade there against Abbeddage.
I hope Ryoma can have a good showing this game. I know it is a preseason tournament, but going up against his former org that he's played LCS with, he's played Academy with, I know that at least Papa Smithy definitely wants good things for Ryoma. And this is it's another chance for him to have a little bit of limelight. I know, personally, my opinion of Academy and the opportunity presented to Academy players, they're usually in a pretty tough spot. So while on one side you can look at it as a bit of a downer that a lot of the LCS orgs are fielding Academy teams for the lock-in tournament, I think it's a very good opportunity for them to showcase that they actually do have a lot of talent. I think there was a number of Academy teams in 2021 that could have placed better than LCS teams that were playing on LCS rosters. So I hope we get to see more of that.
Wait, oh, is he dead? It's almost. He's not going to die to the Ignite, but that is binding in the trap. Q always does full damage. You get the bonus headshot. That looks good.
Yeah.
Why Kate Lux is strong. It was level 2 for both teams, but a better wave means you can tank the hooks with minions, and that is lane priority for 100 Thieves. Looking to slowly crash the third wave here.
And sometimes the other lanes don't matter if you have a Caitlyn succeeding. This is also a camp skip by Closer to immediately pressure this bottom lane. It also pulls Iconic down. That's a good hook, though.
That is also Glacial for the extra slow. Looking pretty well. It means Iconic can reach for the stun. And they're going to try to find the kill on a Huhi. And yes, Chime claims it, rings the bell. They'll answer one back. FBI's on the board. But again, 100 Thieves drop first blood.
They don't get the first blood, but they definitely win the trade. If you think about what happened there, the kill went to FBI. You have Stixxay pushed off wave and recalling, and you also have the gold on Golden Guardian's side going to a Thresh who is one of the worst champions in League of converting gold into power. So even though they give up first blood, and even though they landed this nice hook, Lantern combo, I don't know if the Lantern came through based on the view we have right here, it's still a highly favorable trade for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, he was 2, so I think it was Flay.
I think it was just
anyway.
It was just hook Flay. Yeah.
And just, yeah, got enough damage. Obviously a great hook, didn't have to follow it through right away, and then, yeah, okay, the rest of the follow-through comes in. But shout out to Glacial Augment for getting the slow that allowed Iconic into range for the stun, because that's a 0 for 0 if you don't run Glacial in that case. But here we are now back into the game Ssumday with, you know, some pretty good laning. He's up 6 CS. He's really flipped the script on, you know, the early LCS laning phase here.
Yeah, and I think a well-played Gnar can definitely do this to Renekton early on in the laning phase. Oftentimes the danger would be that if a jungler paths top, then you're going to be in gank threat. However, when you're comboing the Gnar pick with such a heavy pushing bottom lane like Caitlyn Lux, 100 Thieves doesn't care. They know they're going to be making it all about a bot lane game, so hopefully Ssumday can play an isolated game up top lane, and we're just going to see a lot more of this.
Fine. You can flay him on the chompers. Already took
Dead.
one of them. Flashless means
Dead.
he is gone. And thank you very much for the crowd control. But first, a double knockup for Closer. Wants in. Is it the damage? Yes, it is. And that backwards gets FBI in range as Closer claims his kill.
Oh, and now the health difference might be big enough that Stixxay gets zoned off the wave. I think we're going to see...
I mean, he's just an EQ range.
Oh,
like, why'd you walk... Stixxay! I know it's early season. I know. I mean, that's... I feel like it's still positive for 100 Thieves. But, like, you know what brush he's in.
Yeah.
Zap from longer range.
He wanted the experience.
He did.
He was tired of being starved.
Yeah.
Desperate times against a Caitlyn who's gotten a kill and an assist early and has frozen a wave on you when you're level 3 Jinx. I understand it, but just a bad situation that actually he kind of gets bailed out from by getting the kill.
Yeah, I mean, good job kiting it a little bit and, yeah, keeping him on the turret. So, works out as a 1-for-1. It still boots in a Noon Quiver, so because Stixxay got that kill, he's actually on a decent power spike and should be able to play for the lane.
Yeah, and actually a little bit of over-aggression here by Huhi, knowing he has the jungler behind him, but probably didn't expect to get hit by that hook while just level 2, which puts him in burst range. And what is this? Huhi fighting. Huhi, buddy!
Huhi has turned into food. Thank you very much. Stixxay has gotten 3 kills down here already. He's actually going to be gigantic. And look, the phase may have looked bad, but this is sometimes what tank versus enchanter looks like. You've got the ability to CC them. They're squishy. You find the kills. Yes, this is a little bit outside the norm, but good on Chime to land the hooks.
And it might call back a little bit to the level of focus we talked about earlier, where they had such a clean game. In game 1 of the day, they were so far ahead, they could basically do whatever they want. And then you have this Caitlyn Lux lane where I imagine the mindset is very much that you were just going to destroy them, and you almost need to make the pick worth it. So he's trying to push all of his limits. And yeah, he's just gotten punished 3 times.
And now a Hex Flash from a control worded brush, looking for a move. They find a hook, a good cleanse, but FBI is slowed. However, Iconic cannot get the rest of the way into range. I believe a double landing from Huhi guaranteed that neither one could follow up, so good awareness. Huhi managed to land the CC to keep them alive.
Yeah, we'll watch this one more time. Remember that FBI is freezing bottom lane right here, so Huhi is trying to check alone. It was a pretty clever blast cone timing by Chime and Stixxay to get him while he was in the river. You understand why Huhi is trying to make sure that the river is safe, because they're freezing a little bit, but I actually don't think that was completely necessary at the time because of the way FBI was freezing the lane.
Yeah, I mean, it turns out you've got a blast plant there, and that means they time it right on you. Then suddenly they're there. He wasn't on vision unless he got in range of the minions, which might have happened. Could have been lucky timing, but hey, end of the day, it is a 3-kill Jinx, and it's going to be hard to make up the 30 CS deficit, but 2 kills get close there.
Yeah, 700 gold about 8 minutes into the game. Rift Herald will become in play very shortly, and let's see. Yeah, Tony Top just very respectful of the Gnar.
Yeah. Trading farm back and forth, so not much to talk about here. Ryoma on a roam. That is the ward that Huhi put down, and spots his former teammate is on the way over, and yeah, not going to make that roam happen. At some point, the controller gets swept out, but we're going to wait to see how long it's going to take. Closer, richest man, thanks to the kills he's picked up. Nice flash over the stun, finds the first combo, second W, into a stun. That is beautiful, and that is Iconic claiming the kill.
They might be able to move for Rift Herald here. Something that I think is unique about this bot lane as they get hooked again.
Looks like he got over the bind, pulls Huhi in, but did not pull turret aggro, so it doesn't mean a whole lot. End of the day, it's a flash down for Chime, a flash down for Huhi and FBI. Summoner advantage. Hit it at 900, and you can smite it, but it resets. I can't even have smite anyway, so couldn't have kind of fat-fingered it, but that means Golden Guardians dodge aggro too much, and it's going to be a reset on Herald.
Oh, that's dirty. Iconic likely smote during the gank, just for the additional pressure, and not being able to get the Rift Herald off that mid kill is a bit of a backbreaker. Chime!
He's dead! He hooks at 50 HP! The binding lands a bloodbath down here!
FBI and Huhi are not letting up. It doesn't matter how many times you're going to land a hook on that Lux, they're just going to continue to try and kill that turret. And I do like the way FBI and Huhi are playing the Caitlyn Lux lane. I think something that is important to note about the Caitlyn lanes is they really don't like to move. There's a dive here coming. We'll get back to it.
Flash stun and a slow and a knockup into literally nothing you can do. Tony Top from the second Ssumday hits flash. He falls to the ground. Herald summoned, and Ssumday, he gets jungle pressure for a second and turns it into an entire turret.
Really clean. This is exactly the type of transition Hunter Thieves had in their first game when Ssumday was on Renekton against Vayne. He basically gets no attention for the first 10 minutes of the game. All the pressure goes into having bot lane get plates, but then they get the Herald, they get a gank, and immediately Ssumday is back in the game, rewarded for his sacrifice.
Woo! From full HP, Chime is down, lands some CC, but Glacial does not give yourself damage reduction, just pots from full HP as the CC lands. top. Herald does crash into tier 2. That turret's down to 40%. It's picked up later on, but that is obviously a huge game for Thieves. 43,000 gold up.
Yeah, and Gale Force completed for FBI. That's part of how they were able to burst so hard in that Caitlyn Lux lane. So I think 100 Thieves did have that slight lapse of focus early on with Huhi getting caught, but they're completely back on track and have a huge lead.
In the day, yeah, okay, 3 deaths on Huhi, sure, but FBI kept his nose clean. And though he only got assists for most of these kills, obviously he's still plenty ahead with the plates they farmed down on the bottom side. That's going to look pretty good as well. And now you can convert to the next piece onto the map. First Dragon finally going to be attacked here at the 11th minute of the game.
Yep.
Should be a complete formality here, but prioritizing closer, pressuring lanes,
yep,
keeping his farm up, taking the Herald, crashing top, and then, now that there's not much going on, now we go for Dragon. But, well, moving around the map, midwave got pushed in. All right, we'll drop it, no big deal.
Got to be a little careful of the Vex roam, don't want to give up a kill, and the Cloud Drake itself is not that important.
Yeah.
I think it's more common that the first Cloud Drake of the game is taken later than other Drakes. One, because people don't really respect the effect of it very much. They think it's a weak Drake, and two, it does the most damage, so it's the hardest to solo.
Yeah, yeah. Mountain is the slowest to kill, and that can also change the calculus. The rest of them are, yeah, then Ocean slows you, which makes it the worst when you're ganked. So everyone has their own little well, it's bad for this reason. Still agree on your cloud point overall. Just there is some nuance of oh yeah, a few of them kind of suck in weird ways. Like the Hex one has a bouncing slow, so it's almost better Ocean Drake. It's oh, that one can hurt a lot. Yeah. But here we are into this game state with the 3,500 gold lead. Ssumday wants to steal away some Krugs. Even if all you get is the medium one of the two small ones, it's still a decent portion of the gold. Yep. You still feel good about counter-jungling your opponent. Yes, Iconic still gets most of this money. Closers are going through his camps now as well. As we get 12 minutes in, we still got, about 100 seconds left of killing plates. I want to know if 100 Thieves get any more done. Bot lane down to 2 plates remaining. 3. Just kidding. It was a small number. I couldn't quite tell. And now, look at the top side invade. Iconic. Knock-up. Smite's going to land. Lantern to safety. Chime's there for the save.
Nice little steal as 100 Thieves is trying to use that added pressure from the top lane, and anytime they can get vision on the enemy jungler, knowing that you can't TP behind a bot lane, Caitlyn Lux is completely free to play as aggressive as they want. Hello, Iconic.
Yep, all right, there we go. Good damage. Abbeddage wants to sidestep any more crowds so it could be landed. Play backwards on a closer. Ult comes across, nearly the kill. Closer goes for the dunk. Gore Drinker finds the kill. Should be traded back, and now it's a Jarvan in the opposing team. EQ goes over, but stunned into, rooted into, dead. FBI claims his second.
Interesting choice there by Iconic to go back in.
Yeah.
He had the Jarvan, so you had to use it, he felt like. Definitely not the wise choice because FBI had actually stopped hitting the turret, gave up his opportunity for a plate, and was just able to come over and pick up a one-shot kill.
Yeah, I thought maybe there was enough going on. If Ryoma had his ult reset going, oh yeah, I can EQ over a Syndra stun, go back into the Viego ulti, and the plate gets taken at 13.5, so still 4 of them farmed down to the bottom lane. Pretty good income there. Yeah, you imagine a different world. There's almost enough damage to find that kill, but didn't happen here. Ssumday has his demolished. There we go. Stops to auto the turret. Yes, takes the turret shot for it. And I believe it had backdoor bonus, so basically 1/3 damage dealt there. Doesn't mean a ton. Looking like a possible reset, as he's probably got his full Divine Sunderer in base.
That'll make him pretty hard to deal with. Watching this one more time, Iconic sees a window onto Syndra, but honestly doesn't have the follow-up. Hooking seemed like a good idea, but I like how Closer just decided to capitalize by ulting in, and then, yeah, just even if that lands, I don't think it really does much.
Yeah, Vex had ult. She did get the reset off that fight. I was watching the cooldown, and she did have it, but yeah, not enough there. As you mentioned, Caitlyn came up, and it's yeah, level 8 Caitlyn with a Gale Force. That's actually just pretty good damage, and they shut him down. So, unlucky there for Iconic. Maybe a bad choice, but end of the day, it is still the 4,000 gold lead, 200 Thieves. Turret plates have dropped, and what a magnificent early to mid game it has been for the defending LCS champions.
Yeah, they still seem pretty in sync, which is what you would expect when you have a consistent roster. Yeah. No tenacity yet, even though it has been announced that he will be a 6-man for them right now. And Golden Guardians desperately trying to hold on to this turret, but it's not long for this world.
I like the choice. Yeah, with no turret, you can't take that fight. Ryoma has levels, but it's like, yeah, you have teammates nearby. I can't actually dive. There's no way to go for it. So, saves the ult, saves the chance at going for a big fight. Abbeddage needs to walk away. Gonna find the slow. Is Iconic into the stun. Flash hook, sidestepped. And that is unleashed power, but not gonna be enough. The kill comes through. A good setup. Iconic lands all the CC that is needed, and it's one back on the board for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, and Golden Guardians needs to keep trying to make plays like that. They are definitely playing significantly from the back foot because of how much lane pressure 100 Thieves has been able to create, but if they can ever find ways to sneak in behind the Caitlyn Syndra, while Caitlyn Syndra do have great damage and great setup, if you sneak behind them, they're not the most mobile champions.
Oh, the zap. Okay, a flash of safety. Caitlyn, Summoner heal just about required. I think it was necessary. The snipe could have done enough. So, double summoners down for just smart plays at 100 Thieves bot lane.
Yeah, Stixxay has been competitive with gold, but has definitely been playing with very little agency for the majority of this game. I don't see why that would not continue, especially now that he has no summoners.
Next one's going to be a kill. Jinx has no natural escapes. Maybe Chime's got the lantern in the right spot, but yeah, I mean, we're looking at, you know, the previous one was well under 30 minutes, and certainly Golden Guardians making him sweat quite a lot more. You know, shout out to this crew. As you're mentioning, sometimes that second game is where you kind of settle in and you start playing a whole lot better. This is certainly a better looking game from Golden Guardians than their first. It was a rough showing in their opener.
Yeah, I want to see the setup here, though, because FBI and Huhi did have what would be considered a late reset. They recalled with only about 20 seconds for Drake. I like recalling about a minute before if you want to actually have the right push. So they are kind of needing to concede this dragon, and now they're trying to get something on the backside if they can break this mid turret with Rip Rail.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens out of this one because there will be another turret going down. It will grow the gold lead. Certainly 100 Thieves are massively ahead as far as what they can spend, what they can buy, and that just means they're the more powerful team on the map. But it has meant 2 dragons over to Golden Guardians. If they do find a way back in somehow, right? If they do make something happen, they're halfway to Dragon Soul, and that could be a really important piece of power. We are going towards Ocean Soul. It is an Ocean Rift in this case. And this is one thing that I think we saw a lot last year as well, was teams tended to deprioritize Dragon. It seemed like it was all about Herald and then getting the turrets and going for the kills, and the gold was almost always more important than the map objective on the bottom side.
Again, I think it's an interesting conversation to have because if you are able to accrue a large gold lead, then it's totally fine to give up 2 dragons. But if the game stays close, those 2 dragons become very threatening. So in this case, I don't think 100 Thieves should be concerned at all that they gave up the 2 dragons because they have a big enough of a gold delta that they'll be able to overpower the 3rd drake. But I've also seen a lot of teams have success where it is a close game. If they're able to just sneak those dragons out, it turns into a win condition for them. 100 Thieves' win condition is just going to be large gold leads and likely Baron pressure. But that's because they've done successful enough in the early game to get this gold lead.
Yeah, the 2-on-2 played really well. Closer played around them. The first Herald play was really nice, where, you know, they hit that all up and just instantly 1,000 gold went into Ssumday's pockets, shared with Closer, I suppose. And we just saw Ssumday just recently finished killing top lane tier 2 on just split. I'm pretty sure he got that one gank from Closer. Yeah. It's been an island up there, and it's been an island that's, you know, basically named after Ssumday. His flag's been planted, and he owns all that side of the map now. Mid lane wave clear still going to happen. Of course, Caitlyn Lux can just press their button. That's going to mostly full clear a wave. In this case, still going to put the autos down for the casters. Mid lane, we can see again is Iconic waiting on the bottom side. We know there's no dragon to play for. And even Baron's still a minute and a half away. Nice sidestep. Closer not going to be hooked, but goes for the flash dunk. Finds 2, gets 1 kill. And now the other side is what matters. Closer dropped low, takes a rocket, but able to flag and drag away. And an ultimate Renekton. Tony Top's going to go right back away as Iconic gets caught out. The fight was over. It was 5v4, and somehow the Golden Guardians jungler gets converted into 300 more.
Nice play by 100 Thieves there. Huhi landed a couple of nice long-range bindings, which 100 Thieves was able to capitalize on with good chain CC, whether or not that's traps or Syndra stuns, and they're just continuing to push.
And the rest of the skill shots, if that bind lands, you can put in the rest of the Lux combo, or someone else comes in, Abbeddage maybe shows up for the rest of it, or Ssumday dives the tower, and it's going to turn into another turret falling. Map control still in there. 2 dragons, 0 turrets. To 5 turrets and a kill lead and a goal lead. 100 Thieves still just playing for the pressure right now. Baron is spawning in 30 seconds. Dragon in 2 minutes. Watch that mid fight again. As it's a great engage by Closer.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to dodge a couple skill shots there. Doesn't get hit immediately by the Vex. Flash R as the TP comes in, so everything's pretty clean. At this point, you can see Golden Guardians wants to try and get a kill on the closer. They're thinking maybe this is their chance to get back into the game, but as you can see, it really is not. They can't get through the choke point. The Syndra zone control is too strong, and they just end up losing 2-0.
Yeah, eventually I kind of glanced this on Caitlyn, but it's like, oh, we're done by now. Okay, Tony Top got caught out and had to jump back away. So, there's no team fight. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, the bindings that Huhi have been landing, those look pretty good. So it keeps going the way of 100 Thieves. We now crest into, I want a better phrase than post-Baron, but 20 minutes is such a clear breakpoint in the game where Baron is now on the map. The macro calls kind of change. Mid-game feels too early. Like, we've already hit mid-game a while ago.
Sure.
So I kind of want help from the internet. Let me know what you think it should be. I don't think post-Baron is quite the right term, but this is clearly a shift in game state as Baron spawns, and I'd love a clean term for that fits the vernacular of League of Legends. So if you have any ideas, put it in the Reddit thread, tweet me, whatever you want it to be, but I think it's an important conversation at some point.
I was just like post 20 minutes.
Post 20? Okay. I just like having names for it.
Yeah, I know.
But I see your point.
Yeah. You were also talking to me earlier about like the traditional CS stats of like CS at 10 and CS at 15. How 8 and 14 are like cleaner numbers based on the way the game works right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
CS stat catches steam as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's what we're probably going to be using in the LCS this season for comparative stats when we start measuring lane leads and whatnot. Because yeah, Ssumday got his turret crash right at 12, 13 minutes into the game. And it's like, of course, you want to be able to measure that, right? Your post herald, pre plate drop kind of situations. Those are kind of clean game states. Do you roam out a bot lane to play for herald? That should be measured appropriately. So, a fan of just like, okay, we got a fight going on. We're gonna talk about this one. A play backwards, but Ssumday is real tanky. 1v3 or not, he finds a big stun, another slow, and if he has to flash, he'll do it. Flash to the blast plant, jump to the Baron pit, and reinforcements have arrived. The Badaga teleports into that top lane. Try brush, and they might be hemmed in. Doesn't go for the big stun. With no vision in the brush, doesn't take the risk. Takes the risk of verse play. Probably didn't have anyone in range anyway.
Oh, man.
Nothing.
That's pressing for Golden Guardians. That's definitely one of those demoralizing plays where if this were in scrim environment, you might just say GG after that one, because when you catch someone that alone and they do that to you, you know the game is not in a good place.
He 1v3s and comes out higher health than your team. You're like, well, what's the 5v5 going to look like? Not great? Yeah, not great. Gold lead nearly 10,000. 100 Thieves have done this all day. They crushed TSM. Again, in that case, not with their intended roster. It was the Academy team. Golden Guardians in a similar boat. This is the Academy roster. But it's just cool to see, like, yes, 100 Thieves clearly are in form. They are tuned up. I think their game's on Sunday and next week. Yeah, recalling on a ward. Doesn't need it. Here you go. Fine, I guess I'll kill this.
Yeah, I think they're absolutely going to be the lock-in tournament favorites for just a number of reasons, right? The fact that a lot of teams aren't playing with their full rosters, the fact that you are dealing with these compressed practice schedules before lock-in. In a lot of ways, lock-in is a tune-up tournament for teams. Even though, something that I wanted to point out last year, I know prize money isn't talked about very often. You get more for winning lock-in than you do for winning spring split. I mean, of course you can still get prize money for MSI afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not necessarily one for one, and you get a large amount to donate to charity. So like, there are actual financial reasons to want to win lock-in as well, outside of the prestige of kicking off the year in a good start. But yeah, it looks like 100 Thieves is definitely looking to make a little bit of a statement, at least from the first 2 games we've seen. Yeah,
what's ironic, Jatt, is you're coming in here saying, 100 Thieves are the favorites to win lock-in. Yeah. And you and I were the only 2 to predict not 100 Thieves to win lock-in of the talent pool.
Yeah, which means they're the favorites.
They are the favorites. I'm just saying that you and I both are like, actually, you like Teal a bit more, I like EG a bit more. To be fair, part of my bet was I didn't know if 100 Thieves could field the full roster. I didn't know if Ssumday or Closer could make it, because I know there were visa issues. That's why I was leaning EG. EG had said, like, their whole team has been there since, like, December. But we got to fight in the top side. 3v1 round 2. I got flashes, but he's not going to get away from Iconic. That CC combo is going to land. A flash fear, maybe more than is needed, but they claim the kill all the same. Down goes 100 Thieves mid laner.
Yeah, it's nice to get the one. If they can't get Closer, though, it's unlikely they're going to be able to turn it into much. These types of situations, though, you wonder,
top turret,
do you just flip it? Like, there's a Gnar up there. I don't think they have quite enough DPS to be able to do Baron, but if they can catch Closer, they'd have a Baron opportunity.
Just don't know how he dies. FBI is there. Renekton is holding a wave under his turret. Dunk comes in, force the flash. Iconic must tank. He will do so. But there is good gold in the top lane. It's a banana stand full of money. Knock it down. Don't burn it down. Cash it out first. And it's going to be a decent chunk. 500 for the turret itself. Minimum 250 for the objective bounty. I believe up to 400 if you get if it's the fully ramped bounty, which, you know, nearly doubles the value of that turret, and is probably something that should be very prioritized in getting back into the game, as now Ssumday is going to be in a 1v2. They sent Stixxay over, sidesteps the zap, and Tony Top has a flash, but does he not feel like he's in flash stun range?
No.
He needs to get the empowered stun, does so. Ssumday gets Mega Gnar, into the wall he goes. Stixxay still putting the shots down. Next zap should be up in a second, and he sidesteps that one too. Ssumday, mad about the first blood in the opener, refusing to die again. Chime drops to FBI. Ssumday gets another stun. Please, someone tell me he can die. Jumps away, gets the zap onto him, and finally a kill. Stixxay gets 500. Dodged away from Huhi. Iconic can't find the CC. The zap comes in. Closer claims the kill. And in a 2v2 with FBI arriving, I can't imagine Tony Top survives this one. Find a bit of time now, but hey, Closer and FBI putting in the shots. FBI gets stunned. Iconic gets the stab, and
Caitlyn.
now he's Caitlyn, which is really squishy, and he can't ult away in time. 100 Thieves win a sloppy team fight.
Yes, they do, with the delayed ace right there. You still might call worth. You killed Ssumday, and you killed FBI. That's a side quest I like to play when I'm losing a game terribly. You try and kill everyone once.
Yes.
So even if Golden Guardians doesn't get the win, they have at least killed everybody once.
Yeah. You claim any bounties that they have at the time. Chime, goodbye. Goodbye. Yep, you are dead. 100 Thieves coming off the Bud Light Ace with still control of the map, unsurprisingly. Chime walks in for a ward, and oh, there's a Jarvan right there. Okay, he's dead, and we wait again for the respawns here.
Yeah, and now 100 Thieves also has a game. They try and kill Chime 10 times.
Oh, nice.
Because they already have him at 8, and they're really close.
I will say, I'm a big fan of getting triple doubles in League of Legends.
Same.
As not a good basketball player, you want double-digit kills, deaths, and assists. Very hard on support, unless you're Brand. Then it's actually really easy to get 10 each. Maybe the best champion for that overall, but getting to a double digits somewhere, you know, is going to feel pretty good.
It's very easy in A-Ramp. The hard one is 20-20-20.
That one's tough. That is a lot of depth.
Yeah, usually the game ends when you're at 18 or so. Just because death timers get long enough that the game will usually come to a natural completion. But please send me your 20-20-20 games if you have them. Yeah, I like to see the situations where they can happen. In A-Ramp.
Yeah.
Lower consequence than your ranked games. Don't try it in ranked
The 20 deaths ranked, that is a very long game. That is tough. Get the 20, and trust me, I do a fair bit of going too aggressive. But Dragon claimed once again the first 2 that Golden Guardians claimed. Okay, that's a nice consolation, but 100 Thieves with a giant gold lead, retain map control, and the Dragons stack up. It's not like they need Ocean to close it out. Again, I'm not complaining about their style of where they played the map. It's just worth noting, hey, if they were able to have their cake and eat it too, it'd already be an Ocean Soul. Instead, it's just a 10,000 gold lead, and that feels good too.
It does show one of the consequences of not taking the early Dragons, because, like, sometimes you want to ask yourself what the purpose of a gold lead is. Like, is the gold lead to secure objectives, or is the gold lead to have a gold lead? Like, or is the gold lead to extend your gold lead? And when, basically, Dragon Soul is a win condition, right? Baron can be a win condition. Obviously, killing the Nexus is a win condition, but it stalls when you don't get your first Drake until like 20 minutes, which is what 100 Thieves do.
Absolutely, it gives time to fight back, because if you can't go for the Baron, there's a big dive and a deletion! And that is a death. 1 for 1, those the mid laner trades back out. Iconic tries to stay alive, ults to safety, gets away. Close has a GA, will not die. Iconic burning, but survives as well. A 1 for 1 where you shut down FBI. That's the kind of situation Golden Guardians are happy to be in, where they claw back that little bit longer. And if this does happen to go for 20 more minutes and the Ocean Soul never does come through, then that starts to matter. A very rare situation, to be clear, but you know, these scraping by and staying equal, that's now the game plan for Golden Guardians for the next 10 minutes.
Really nice pick there by Ryoma, and that's basically their only option. I don't think it's realistic that Chime will be able to find hooks onto him because Jarvan and Gnar are more likely to be able to block, as well as if you're moving into hook range, he's just going to die himself to either a Syndra or a Lux. But if they can weave those Vex, Ult, and Fears through the team and get onto one of the 3 squishies, they would have a fighting chance. It's a very low probability to win, but let's watch this one more time. You can see how far away FBI actually is here before he's in fatal range. Like, he's not within 1,000 range of anyone until he's dead to a CC chain. So if they can find those angles, they have a very small chance.
Yeah, and it wasn't even the rocket. Jinx didn't land that one. It went right through the corpse. So, I mean, that could have even been a get excited and even more chance to win a team fight. Obviously, Jinx scales incredibly well in team fights once she gets that first kill. Just a boatload of attack speed, of course, possible via her passive and minigun and her keystone of lethal tempo. Like, you can start shredding as time goes on, but you need that first kill. Turns out you've got an assassin for a frontliner. That first kill isn't that hard to reach if you can involve yourself. FBI sidesteps the ulti, pretty important. I think Ryoma could have gone for the combo there. FBI has cleanse, but not flash. You can probably combo off that one sometimes, but now Baron has begun. 2 minutes till next dragon spawns, and Baron, okay, Bluefinger reveals it, but it looks like Thieves don't have to care yet. Yeah,
we got to see if they're able to secure this. They do have good vision control here. If Golden Guardians tries to step in, Syndra can zone them out, and
oh! Yeah, that was close. It was a good rocket by Stixxay, but a better smite by Closer, and now the Red Bull Baron power play begins. Ssumday has flash. Does he get them onto the wall? Not just yet. The crunch isn't too good and doesn't reach the back line. Wasn't able to quite get in range where he wanted to. Ryoma just out of range of the Jarvan. Closer could have traded flash for flash. That would have worked. Chooses to say, well, we find a better fight than just flash gets a mid laner. We can kind of lock people down with that one instead, so we'll wait. A nice spear going to stop Closer's attempt, but mid lane will fall. Inhibitor cracked.
Good job by them. Let's see if they can get the second one. I think that's what's necessary if they want to accelerate this game to the right pace. They're still about 6 minutes away from being able to acquire the Ocean Soul, but they move straight into top lane. They still have a decent threat on the Nexus turrets from Ssumday, and they've already started pumping that top turret.
You mentioned Ssumday in the mid lane for top right now. The poke going back and forth, and that is going to be a turret falling as the traps go down. The losing singularity for the CC, the slow, and you can't walk past it. So the Baron buff push continues, and we're going to see a second inhibitor fall. Bot lane, the next target could be next. We'll see which way it goes, but Golden Guardians now on their back leg. Yeah, Demolish is ready. That turret's going to fall, and you've got to take your fight before your base is dead. You waited until the first turret dropped. When's it going to happen? Ryoma has an ulti available. Tony Top. His is going to time out. Flash stun, not going to find a good target here, so it's the turret taking damage. You have to go at some point. Finally comes in. The one shot on FBI. The Q misses. A single skill shot could have changed that fight, but he's going to get off to the side. How about the 5v4? The dunk comes in. Closer on a rampage as Chime falls again. Was it number 10 is the question, or only number 9? Tony Top flies in and doesn't have the damage. FBI gets the net out in time. Iconic knocked up into the laser, into the kill. Stixxay tries, but he's out of mana. Goes for the autos. That is a stopwatch, and that is no way back into the game. I am sorry, 100 Thieves. The quest was not complete. Only 9 kills on the Chime, but they will knock down Ryoma. They will knock down the Nexus, and 100 Thieves will start the lock-in tournament 2-0.
Definitely took care of business right at the end there. After FBI got picked once in the red buff side jungle, they just went Baron and pushed mid until the game was over, and I think that also demonstrated how good their front-to-back, like, straight-up fighting was. Because I think there's going to be a lot of people that would say, why didn't Golden Guardians just go? Because they couldn't straight up. Unless they could find a way behind 100 Thieves, which they weren't in a position to at the moment that that mid lane siege happened. 100 Thieves can stay there indefinitely. So I like that they recognized that and just really ended the game when it looked like it might be able to drag on for a little longer.
Yeah, they had all the long-range poke, the zoning tools and whatnot. The only great engage was, okay, you maybe land a hook, but there's a lot of warning for that one. And they can zone them out, and so they can stay out of hook range the entire time. And Vex combos. And to be fair to Ryoma, this was, I mean, I think one of the best games I've seen of him in a long time. It actually looked pretty good. He had some of the deletions. I mean, he nearly got FBI at the very end there.
Really close.
Right? And it's just him. If you can tank the R, then there's no other way in. So, you know, you're looking for those kind of break points. But well done, of course, 200 Thieves for the convincing win. We're going to head over to the State Farm Analyst Desk to break that game down. See you soon.